Hello, everyone. Today we are talking about the empowered learner and talking about how students can take ownership of their own learning. So, there's two different types of learning environments that you find in a classroom, like the physical classroom, which is what you're traditionally used to, where learning took place inside that physical location. And differentiation was harder to achieve because everybody was learning from the teacher standing at the front of the class. There's also been another learning environment introduced recently, which is online learning. And as technology is becoming increasingly popular in the modern day, teachers are able to easily create those individualized learning situations for students based on their needs because of different programs that are accessible to students online. So, when teachers are equipped with a well rounded amount of resources, they can best meet the needs of their students. And this includes being up to date with the latest technology and ways to connect with students. So, some examples from this image that you see above include connecting with colleagues specifically in your concentration area, incorporating popular media for enhanced engagement, and different online platforms such as like blogs or interactive discussion boards. And teachers can use these tools to their advantage by adapting their teaching to the student's strength and needs. So if you look around here on this image that's on this slide, you can see that there's just a lot of different technology tools and specifically ways that connect students with other students or maybe even students to outside community to really stretch their knowledge and growth from in the classroom to outside into the real life situations. Okay, next we're talking about personalized instruction systems. And there's two main ones that I'm going to be talking about. And the first one is student choice, which is allowing students to create personalized learning for themselves. And when you have that student choice component, students feel a little bit more empowered to learn because they are taking control of their own learning. Where adaptive learning kind of goes off of student choice a little bit, but it's a system that's set up in advance, like on an online platform, which allows students to work at their own pace. So you have programs that are set up. I'm going to talk about a few examples here in this, but it helps students to review concepts and to feel like they are in charge rather than a teacher picking the pace for them. So student choice has lots of different options here. And choice boards are a great tool to create empowered learners in your classroom. Choice boards are created by making some type of like table or list of activities that students can choose from to demonstrate a skill. So giving student choices and options for each lesson will allow that student to show their skills in a way that best meets the needs of that particular student and also gives them the ability and freedom to use their interests. So here at the bottom is a link that I'm going to click on and go to. And in this link, it'll go through the steps of creating a choice board and just telling you how you can make one specifically for your class. Because I think a lot of times teachers look at choice boards and they're like, that's a great idea, but it's a little bit of a daunting task. Seems like a lot of work. But this really steps you through some easy steps to make it a lot less work for you as a teacher. Okay, going back here. So going along with choice boards, we have PBLs or project-based learning. And PBLs are one of my favorite teaching strategies because they allow for students to create a project about the skills that they learned, and also it gives them freedom to choose a project in a format that best displays their abilities, as well as developing those real-life application skills. And PBLs, in my opinion, are one of the best ways to empower a student's learning because students can clearly see how what they are learning will apply to their life, and they can apply these skills using their own creative ideas for their project. Stations are another great way for students to show what they know Or also for those who need additional support, it allows for them to get that individualized time on certain topics. And also for students who need the additional challenge, they can be challenged while you're helping other students. So stations provide multiple learning opportunities for students on a wide range of skills that they have learned in a specific unit or lesson. And students can move around from station to station to get extra review on skills that they need extra practice on, or that they can go to different stations that would challenge them more if they've already mastered the given skills. Stations put students in charge of their own learning, and which helps them to make effective decisions about material they need to cover on their own. Next is the flipped classroom, which is an approach that I have adapted in my own classroom. And by flipping the classroom, you are having students learn the skills or material for a given lesson at home on their own, and then when they get to class, they complete the homework or assignment to show mastery. And when you do set up your classroom like this, you can create more individual time for students who need extra help on the concept that they learned at home. And you can also provide more challenge for students who get it in the first 5 minutes. Guided learning can also be similar to a flipped classroom approach in some ways, because during guided learning, a teacher will maybe prompt students on a topic, get them to recall on some prior knowledge, but they're ultimately building the skills on their own. And through guided learning, students are able to come up with their own methods of solving or thinking, which can lead to more independence when it comes to their education. And the last one we're going to talk about is computerized learning, because that's been growing exponentially. And we're going to talk about this on the next slide too. And there are so many programs out there for students that help them to work at their own pace and review any material that they need to achieve mastery. And some of these programs would include like Prodigy or Khan Academy, or really any online program that would go through a lesson and then give them material, which can encourage different outlets of learning. Okay, next for adaptive learning, this is where we take that computerized learning and we kind of build off of it. So individualized instruction is very similar to the computerized learning, where students use programs that will teach them guided lessons at their own pace. And these programs would use like self-check quizzes, and then if students maybe miss like 3 or 4 questions and they're all related to that same skill or topic, then the program would take them back through whatever concepts they missed and have maybe a new lesson or new practice problems for them to gain mastery. Games are an amazing tool for students, especially for reviewing, and they make the educational experience really fun. And they also keep an individual record for students of all the skills and concepts that were introduced in the game. So they can go back and look at that information and see exactly where they were struggling at and where they need extra practice. And it really empowers them to take control and advocate for their own learning. And then adaptive learning really helps with student engagement, because it's creating an environment that can be more beneficial to them as an individual student. And they will be more likely to want to learn when instruction is personalized to meet their needs and abilities. And it helps students to not get as bored in class and for them to be able to grow and flourish on their own. So here are some references that I used for this, and hope you enjoyed and learned something new.